All right, good afternoon, Charger Nation, and welcome to our Fall National Letter of Intent and College Commitment Celebration. I am Nancy Beatty and the Director of Athletics here at Providence Day. I want to give a warm welcome to our family and friends who are joining us, as well as those who are watching us live stream. Today is a very special day for our community. It is the first of 4 special signing days for our senior student athletes this year. In addition to today, let us not forget about how special this weekend is for our veterans and remembering those who served our country. Let us show our appreciation for our veterans who are in the crowd today or watching us live stream. Thank you for your service. Also, let's take a moment to congratulate all of our fall student athletes and their teams on their performance and achievements. So far, we have 31 all-conference and 7 all-state student athletes. 2 state cross-country state championships teams, and a tennis state runner-up title to start the year. Quite an impressive season so far. Yeah. Tonight's football game will be a great game and an opportunity to see our senior cheer and football players for the last time in the stadium. Faculty and staff and student tickets will all be supported by the school, so you are free to come in, but we want to make sure that we give a big shout out to our Charger Club who's helping sponsor those tickets. And on that note, let's continue our celebration by welcoming our head field hockey coach, Michelle Garrity, to the stage to talk about her 4 players.
All right, first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the field hockey signees. This senior class swept the campus, Charlotte and North Carolina, with their mentality of beast mode and the beast mode bunny. They worked hard as individuals and for each other to do great things. They have left their own mark on the program, one of encouragement, connection, playing with a purpose, and trust. Our first signee today is Eloise Cookman. We celebrate her commitment to play field hockey and continue her education at the University of California, Davis. So I think I've known Eloise now since she was about 10 years old. We met when I became her field hockey coach for a U12 indoor team. I hadn't ever coached U12 before and only had experience with high schoolers. So what was I supposed to do with them? They could barely hold a stick. But boy, was I in for a surprise. Not only did they do well, but they ended up medaling at nationals. Now I tell you this for a reason, yes. This is where Eloise and I started our journey together as player and coach. But this is also where I learned who the essence of Eloise is as a field hockey player and a person, and who she continues to be today. During this U12 season, Eloise was always the one with a huge smile on her face, loving life and showing the world that everything will be okay. There are many moments in that season where I probably looked like a deer in headlights, but I would turn to Eloise. She'd give me a look of confidence and all is good and all will be fine. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this same look since she was 10 years old. In fact, any of her teammates can tell you the same thing. As a captain this past season, she led with such humble confidence and encouraging tone. She knows how to calm the storm when challenges come our way and bring the team together to feel the same confidence she has. Eloise balances the competitive nature of fighting to win, but also making sure that we're playing the game because it's fun, and that's what we like to do. In her 4 years on varsity, Eloise has been 2-time all-conference player, 2-time all-state player. She had 10 career goals, 23 assists, 12 of which came from this year alone, and 5 defensive saves. This past season, she led from the middle, making incredibly long passes to generate attack, making key block tackles to stop some of the best players in North Carolina, reading passes to intercept on our defensive corner unit, and leading our offensive corner unit in all our plays. Here is what her future coach at UC Davis had to say about her. We are extremely excited for Eloise to be joining us at Davis. Her love for the game, skill on the field, and willingness to do the hard work all stood out to us as we got to know her. The more we've been around Eloise, the more we knew she was exactly the type of player we wanted in our program. We are looking forward to helping her continued growth and development as a player and person over the next 4 years as she pursues a world-class education and high-level athletics. The sky is the limit for Eloise, and we want to help her get there. Eloise, on behalf of the entire coaching staff, we are excited to see what you will do at UC Davis, not only as a field hockey player, but also as you. Whatever you put your mind to, you will accomplish great things and will change the world. Continue to be you and change lives of people around you. Go Aggies.
I'd like to start by thanking my parents who always pushed me to be the best version of myself, and without them, I wouldn't be here today. Thank you to Coach O for all you've done for me during this process, and Coach Mish for the best senior season I could imagine, and U12 season. Thank you to my teammates who I will miss greatly, and shout out to my brother and friends for being my biggest supporters. Lastly, thank you, Coach Austin and Rachel. I can't wait for next year. I'm extremely grateful for all of you, and go Ags.
Our next field hockey player is Kenna White, and we are celebrating her commitment to play field hockey and continue her education at Hamilton College. I would define Kenna as a passionate, gritty, and tenacious athlete. She goes all in, gives it her all, and leaves nothing left. Her speed cannot be matched as she can take the ball from the defensive end all the way to the attacking circle without being touched. I'll even catch her teammates just stop and watch her as she weaves in and out of opponents as if they were just sitting there as cones. Additionally, her block tackles are some of the strongest that they literally send opponents flying, like we saw in the semifinal game against Country Day. Kenna has been known to make key block tackles during a game and then create attack to help score. For me, a defining moment from Kenna this season is when she intercepted the ball in our defensive end and dribbled past like 5, 6, 20 players, and then was able to get the ball into our attacking circle to cause a corner with less than 10 seconds left in one of our first home games against Country Day. We were tied at the time, and our offensive corner team was able to score a goal with time expired for us to win. But this is Kenna, knowing what needs to happen and making sure to get the job done. During her time at Providence Day School, Kenna has been a 4-time varsity letter recipient, 2-time all-conference player, 2-time all-state player, and was elected by her teammates as captain this year. She recorded a career total of 3 goals, 1 assist, and 5 defensive saves. Additionally, she has played a crucial role in our defensive unit, defensive corners, and our 7v7 overtime team. Outside of field hockey, Kenna has participated on the spring track and field team where she shares the school record for the high jump. Here is what her future coach at Hamilton had to say about Kenna. I've really enjoyed getting to know Kenna both as a player and a person. She definitely understands a positive team culture and showing genuine care for others. Kenna is an excellent defender who possesses fantastic field sense and overall ability to execute skills under pressure. Kenna, I just want to say on behalf of the PDS field hockey coaching staff that we are very proud of all your accomplishments you've had in your field hockey career. You will always be known as a player who attacks the game with passion, but also does so in her life. We look forward to watching you take down, literally, more opponents in the next 4 years. Go Continentals.
I'd like to begin by thanking all of my truly incredible coaches who have made my field hockey career possible. Through Providence Day and Club Field Hockey, thank you to Coach Mish, Coach O, and Coach K for your support, encouragement, and teaching me everything I know about this sport I love. An additional big thank you to my Charlotte Ambush coaches, Coach Joey, Coach Crombles, and Coach Kelsey, as well as all my Ambush teammates and friends. I cherish the memories we've made. Next, I'm incredibly grateful for my teammates here at PD. Words cannot express how much I appreciate every single one of you and how special these 4 years have been. To all of my fantastic Providence Day teachers and mentors, thank you so much for investing in me as a person, as a student and a person. Also to my amazing friends, thank you for being here today and being by my side through it all. I'm so excited to see where life takes you, and I love you all so much. Oh my God, sorry. Now to my mom, my other half, my best friend. We did it. I'm consumed with gratitude, love, and appreciation for you always. You have made me who I am today and made this all possible. Thank you. With that, I'm extremely fortunate and excited to continue my journey at Hamilton, alongside Coach Mariano and the rest of the Hamilton community. Thank you for this opportunity, and go Continentals.
Next, we have Reese Ziegler, the quiet, humble strength of our senior crew. We are here to celebrate her commitment to play field hockey and continue her education at Connecticut College. Reese has been with the varsity field hockey team for 3 years. During her career, she scored a total of 7 goals and had 8 assists. This year alone, she had 6 goals and 6 assists. She was nominated as the Charlotte Observer Athlete of the Week and earned all conference this past fall. Most people in the field hockey world know Reese for her incredible work ethic, coachability, and drive to do her personal best. She works hard both in practice, during games, and outside with training then beyond the usual field hockey schedule. As a forward, we have seen her make leaping dives to try to get the ball, or powerful shots on offensive corners, or getting incredibly low to block up a free hit and get the ball back to then score. A defining moment for me is when I think about Reese is during our first home game this year against Myers Park, one of our big field hockey rivals. It was a Friday afternoon in August when the temperatures were beyond 100 degrees. It was so hot, we were required to have water breaks every 7-8 minutes, and players were dropping like flies. After playing 4 tough quarters totaling 60 minutes of hockey, the teams were tied. Then we went into 2 overtimes. It was 7v7, and we were still tied. We headed into the 3rd overtime, which was a shootout, which we hadn't practiced at all this season. So I asked the team, who wants it? Reese's hand immediately shot up without hesitation, and she said, "Coach, I got it," with pure calmness and confidence. Reese will always be known for her inner confidence that comes out in the most important moments. She leads by example and is always looking out for others both on and off the field. She has a heart to help others, as we see this in her interactions with teammates and outside of field hockey as a recipient of the Community Engagement Award. Additionally, she's one of the most coachable athletes I've ever coached. You tell her to do something and she says, "Okay, coach," and then goes and does it right then and there. You don't have to tell her twice. Reese will always be remembered for always going above and beyond with her preparation and dedication. Reese, on behalf of the coaching staff, we like to say how incredibly proud of an example you show to others, that you can do anything you put your mind to with hard work, dedication, and a passion to do great things. We know whatever you decide to do in life, you're going to give it your all. Good luck at Connecticut, and go Camels.
I'd like to start by thanking all the coaches that helped me to get to this point. Coach Mish, congratulations on your first season as head coach. It was such a great season. I'm so glad I got to be a part of it. Thank you for all your help and all your coaching on and off the field. To Coach K and Coach Emma, thank you for making my senior season so special and memorable. To Coach O, thank you for coaching me all these years and for helping me through the recruiting process. I couldn't have done it without all of your advice and help. I'd also like to thank Coach Tim from F4 Fitness Training for making me as strong as I am. You're the reason that the girls twice the size of me on the field can't push me around. And thank you for your constant support, whether it be in sports, school, or art. You're like my third parent, always reminding me to do my homework every day when I go to the gym. I'd also like to thank all of my teammates at PD. You guys are the best part of PD field hockey, and it wouldn't have been the same without you. Congrats to Gracie, Eloise, and Kenna for their commitments. Kenna, I can't wait to play against you next year. And Gracie, you've been my field hockey day one for as long as I've been playing. You've been there too, and it's gonna be really hard to get used to not playing with you next year. I'd also like to shout out my fellow senior and my good friend on the field hockey team, Lily Coble. We've only been teammates for 2 years, but you've made those 2 years the best out of all of them. And shout out to my spirit sister, Lauren, who I don't think she's here today, but thank you for making my senior season so special. Please join track in the spring. I'd like to thank my family for all their support. Mom, words can't express how thankful I am for you. You're the one person who hears the good, the bad, and the ugly of my life. I would be a mess without you. My dad is the most tenacious person in this room for taking on the challenge of learning the field hockey rules and challenging the refs every chance he gets. The refs probably don't appreciate it, but I do. And I'd also like to say thank you to my siblings who have been the ones guiding me and inspiring me my whole life. My brother Bo is currently in St. Louis playing baseball at Washington University. Last year, Bo, you stood up here and you said so many nice things about me, and I told you I'd one-up you in my speech this year, but if I'm being honest, I've never one-upped you in anything, because you're just amazing at everything you do. Your level of passion in everything you do is absurd. All my life, our dinner time has been filled with all the random baseball statistics that I could never, ever possibly not need to know, and every normal conversation I have with you could be interrupted at any moment because you have to watch Juan Soto's at bat. You've taught me that loving sports is so much more than just playing it. You're my biggest inspiration, and everything I do is just a shadow of what you've done. I'd also like to thank my friends for supporting me and being here today, especially my 2 best friends, Laura and Sophie, who have stuck with me since 1st grade. Laura took a break from her busy schedule of traveling the world and competing in international kayaking competitions to be here supporting me today. And Sophie was the first person to know about my commitment outside my family, and she immediately went online to shop for merch, which obviously I can respect a love of fashion. I love you both, and I can't imagine these past 12 years without you. Lastly, I want to thank Coach Chrissy at Connecticut College for seeing things in me that I didn't always see in myself, and for giving me the opportunity to continue playing the sport I love in college. Go Camels.
And last but definitely not least, we have Gracie Casper, and we are celebrating her commitment to play field hockey and continue her education at Washington and Lee. This year was definitely Gracie's year to leave her legacy on the Providence Day field hockey program. As our leading scorer this fall, she recorded 15 goals. 15 goals, people. and 9 assists, along with being Charlotte Observer Athlete of the Week, Charger of the Week, and earning a spot on the All-Conference team and the North Carolina Senior All-Star Game. During her 3 years on the varsity field hockey team, she has had a total of 19 goals and 15 assists. As one of the captains her senior year, she was a crucial part in organizing our forwards and commanding our attacks against opponents. All these accomplishments are outstanding. However, what makes Gracie so great is her serving attitude and always putting the we before the me. You can see this at practice as she helps out and mentors younger players, or during games where she has times where she could shoot the ball, but she decides to pass. A moment that I will hold on forever about Gracie comes from senior night. This girl could have had 6, 7, probably 20 goals in that game if she really wanted to. But with her team-first mentality, she focused on celebrating all the seniors, her friends, her field hockey sisters, by setting them up to score or having opportunities to be a part of the attack when they normally aren't. This is who Gracie is. We all see that not only on the field hockey field, but also her involvement in Freedom School and the Special Olympics, and as the recipient of the Presidential Volunteer Service Award. She has a genuine heart to encourage others to be their best selves, along with pursuing herself each and every day to become a better field hockey player. Gracie, on behalf of the coaching staff, we'd like to say congratulations on all your achievements you have had through your hard work and dedication. We can't wait to see how you contribute to the WNL field hockey program, but also that community too. Keep serving others, showing what compassion, care, and determination looks like. Go Generals.
Hello, everyone. I'm so thankful for the amazing opportunity to play field hockey in college. I want to first thank my parents for committing almost every afternoon and weekend to watch me play for the past 8 years and making so many sacrifices to help me achieve my goals. Mom, you've always encouraged me to give 100% no matter what, and I know I've grown as a player and person because of it. Dad, I'm going to miss road tripping to endless games and having you on the sidelines. I love you guys. Thank you, Kevin and Jack, for being the best big brothers who I can always look up to. A special thanks to Kevin for flying here today to support me. Thank you for always being here to make me smile and for always listening to me. I wouldn't have been able to do this without your endless encouragement. You're the best. Thank you to all of my friends for always cheering me on. I love you guys. Especially Carly and Ella for always believing in me no matter what, and showing me how much support from friends can make a difference. You guys are truly the best. Thank you for everything. Next, I would like to thank all of my coaches. Thank you, Coach Mish, Coach O, Coach K, Coach Emma, Coach Joey, and SG. Coach Mish, thank you for pushing me to be the best version of myself as a player and as a person. You made my PD field hockey career so memorable. And SG, you are more than a coach to me. You really are like my big sister. You truly made me fall in love with playing team sports because of the environment you create, which is so special. And coming to your practices was always the highlight of my day. I can't call anyone else a coach, friend, and mentor of mine. And you taught me the importance of setting goals, always having respect, and having fun in everything that I do. Thank you to all of the amazing teachers at Providence Day. Your support and flexibility over the years is so meaningful. A special thanks to Ms. Carmichael for teaching me how to be a leader and inspiring me to pursue my passions. PD is so lucky to have you, and showing up to all of my games has meant the world to me. Thank you to all of my teammates for being some of my closest friends. You guys have made field hockey so fun, and I'm going to miss you so much next year. Lastly, I would like to thank the WNL coaching staff, Coach Wells, Coach Blaine, and Coach Berman for giving me this amazing opportunity. I'm so excited for the next 4. Roll Gens!
Hello, everybody. I'm Coach Harper, and I have the pleasure of talking about Sharia Baradwaj over here and his commitment to UPenn, the Quakers. First, I want to congratulate everybody in here for all your efforts, and I want to congratulate all these athletes. I think we'd all be amazed if we were able to somehow add up all the hours they put into their sports and their careers and their teams. It's a lot, and I don't think everybody really understands that every time. It's impressive. So congrats to all of you. Recently, someone mentioned to me they felt like sports choose you as opposed to the other way around. And sometimes that can feel a little bit like, wait, huh? No, I chose this sport. I did this. But I think it can be true. It might be something for all of us in here to reflect on. But Sharia told me one time, in fact, he wrote this out in a document I asked the kids to fill out, that when he was a little kid, he used to hang from a magnolia tree. And his mom would get a little worried that he would fall and get hurt. So his grandfather apparently said, I got an idea. I'm going to put a tennis racket in his hand. And that's sort of where it went from there, right? So it's kind of cool to think that magnolia tree could be the reason why he's up here right now. Sorry, I get emotional thinking about all the things we've been through. So every sport has its own unique challenges, and tennis is definitely not missing any of those. You miss school a ton for the tournaments you got to travel for. It's a lonely sport. There are no subs or replacements. There are no, really, you don't even get coached while you're playing unless you're, now that we can actually finally coach between points as high school coaches, which is kind of hard to believe. You don't have teammates out there with you in the world of junior tennis. You don't even have umpires. It's all your own honor, your own integrity, and figuring those kinds of things out. So, and I think that's something to really consider when you think about all the work that's gone into his career. And speaking of missing school, I just checked his grades, and the lowest one is 92 in 4 APs while missing lots of tennis. And as well as being an awesome saxophone player, which I confirm all the time with Dr. Huff, right? Just an incredible all-around athlete and student. And it's a lot of work for parents, so I want to recognize Raj and Aditi for everything you guys have done to get him to this point. And they've been the perfect parents of sort of providing while pushing in the perfect balance, right? That's really hard to know what to do. I think all of the parents here should deserve a lot of credit for that. It makes me nervous to even think about it. I only have an 8-year-old. Like, how do I push the right way, but also give them their space? And tennis can be really hard in that regard, because oftentimes when they're out there in a tournament, you're the only one with them, right? You travel, that's your team. So I think that's another something that should be recognized today is how well you guys have done as parents. Tennis, you have to have strength, but not too much. You don't want to be pulling and tearing muscles. You got to have power, but you got to have touch. You got to have finesse. You got to have intensity, but mixed with a calm, right? And these are all things that Sharia possesses. I failed to look up a whole lot of his records and things like that. I can tell you he went undefeated last year, didn't lose many games. I can tell you he's been all-state, all-conference every year. We get together as an all-conference group of coaches and decide on the team. We're like, all right, Sharia, now what? It was just like the best player probably we've ever seen around here, right? And his game is just incredibly diverse, bringing in all of his talents. And I think what stands out the most is how selfless he's been as a teammate. In a sport that you have to be very selfish and you have to focus on yourself so much. He so many times was so dialed into his teammates that he might lose a game or two only because of that. In fact, I can almost picture moments of looking over at him and he's going like this, let's go, Renat, let's go, Tage, like literally beating people while he's cheering on his teammates. That's how good he was and how fired up he was about his team, right? It's just amazing. In fact, just watching him in the final match of the state championship last year, just yelling and the courts weren't all right together, just yelling for his teammates as we went. The other visual I have of him was just before our state final match was him sort of coaching our number 2 doubles team on what we thought some changes we needed to make. And he really kind of made some final changes and talked them through that. And it just dialed into them and they listened, and it's the best match they'd ever played. So that was really cool to see that. So I think I haven't actually, again, I failed on that end to talk to the coach. But again, I think that should also be noted. This is such an international sport. He's not only competing, he's one of the top 10 ranked players in the nation, but he's not only competing with our country. There are like 70 other countries that kids come from to play tennis. So you can't just say, I'm one of the best 10 and you're going to be one of the best 10 going to college. He's up against an incredible number of players from all over the world. And I am certain that what his coach has noticed is his tenacity, his incredible skill that he can just literally apply to anything. And I think he's a player that not only could play at the college level, but could play at the professional level if he just decides to put that same commitment he's put in already. So I can't wait to come watch some matches. And you guys should be excited. You get to come watch them in the spring. Get out there and watch some tennis matches and see what a talent you might have missed so far if you haven't. But I want to congratulate you and your parents on an incredible career. And we can't wait to have one more season with you. And go Quakers.
I think the last time I was up here was when I was asking everyone to raise their hand and shake it at student council in 6th grade, but First and foremost, I would like to congratulate all my fellow student athletes on this significant milestone in our journey. Your accomplishments are a testament to your passion and drive for success. This has been a voyage of dedication, sacrifice, and perseverance, and I'm incredibly proud as well as honored to share this experience with you all. Here's to no longer worrying about our grades. I'm just kidding, kind of. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to Coach Harper and Coach Courier, who have helped mold me into the player I am today. Your guidance and expertise instilled lifelong values of discipline, teamwork, and sportsmanship. Thank you for pushing me beyond my limits and helping me reach new heights. My memories of our time together never fail to make me smile, and I'm excited to make even better ones this spring. It's ring season, baby. Without the teachers and staff at Providence Day, I'm not sure what I would have done. After countless missed days, assignment extensions, and getting to the point where Mr. Gregory didn't even ask me my name in the testing center, I have nothing but gratitude for the PD community that worked so hard to help me succeed. Also, Ms. Hendrickson, thank you for writing so many notes for me. I know your hand is probably tired of writing my name. To my friends, both on and off the court, your support has been a constant source of motivation. Whether you knew it or not, your companionship helped me through challenging times and created unforgettable memories. Any day with you guys is always a good day. The joy you have created in my life will stay with me forever, and I'm indebted to you for that. Coach Rich and Stratton of UPenn, I know they're probably not watching, but thank you for recruiting me. Even though I had a horrifying buzz cut, my mom was relieved someone picked me looking like that. I won't let you guys down. Looking back on it now, I would not be in this position without the help and assistance of countless people. But there are two who I truly owe it all to. Words cannot begin to describe the depth of my gratitude for my parents, who have been unwavering pillars of support from the very beginning. Your selflessness, encouragement, and love have been the driving force behind every swing, match, and victory. This achievement is as much yours as it is mine, and I will always be grateful for your unyielding belief in me. I love you guys. Also, just in case my sister is actually watching on the live stream, she was pretty supportive as well, and yes, I do love her also. Thank you for setting such a great example and having a successful path for me to follow, and thanks for not being mad that I'm the better athlete. Anyways, enough said. Go Quakers.
Good afternoon, everybody. Shari, I remember that speech from 6th grade. It was a good one. Congrats to all the athletes today. It's quite an accomplishment that you guys have reached the heights you've reached. So we're here to recognize two lacrosse players as well, Kyle and Alex, who have been playing together since about 3rd grade-ish. And Kyle, we're going to start with you. And I remember we started lower school teams years ago when Kyle was about 3rd grade. And that was my first memory of him playing lacrosse. He came out and he was tall and uncoordinated. His legs hadn't quite caught up to his body yet, and he was wearing rec specs under his helmet, and he was rocking them. And he looked really good. Maybe you should bring those back this year. But my memory of Kyle, the first time I saw him playing on that field was how competitive he was. And if you watch him play lacrosse or even football, you can see that relentless drive that he has. And that's, I think, what separates him from a lot of his counterparts. And we moved him to defense that shortly after he started playing, which obviously turned out to be a great decision. So I haven't been able to watch these two grow from the players that they were when they were 8, 9 years old to now has been a thrill. So all of you guys, all athletes are unique, right? And they work, they develop, they grow in different ways. Usually there's a touch of adversity that they have to go through that helps them grow the most, and Kyle is no stranger to that. He had to deal with 2 major injuries and surgeries, and as a result of that, he lost his entire sophomore season, part of his junior season, And I think that has a lot to do with him sitting here today and how he approached those setbacks. He approached them with grit, determination, an undying positive attitude that you rarely see in a high school student athlete and maybe even an adult. When he first got out of his surgery his sophomore year on his hip, you would often find him sitting in a chair outside our locker room doing wall ball while his team was practicing. And so a couple of years ago, we started this thing in the winter called the PDLL when COVID hit and we weren't sure if we were going to have a season. So we created these 2 teams and we had seniors draft them. And it's become kind of a staple of our program. But when Kyle was out his sophomore year, I put him in charge of one of those teams as a captain and GM. And I remember as a freshman, he started as a freshman, so he's a 4-year starter for us. And he was so quiet. Like, we never heard a word from him. He just showed up to practice, he did his job, and he was great. We're like, hey, it's great having Kyle on the team. Never hear from him. And then all of a sudden, sophomore year, he's a completely different person. And I think it had a lot to do with he was not able to play. And so when we put him in charge of one of those teams, he was coaching them, and he really came out of his shell. And I think the way that he approached his injuries and the setback kind of forced him into the type of leader that he is today. So while he was on injured reserve, we would often send him to Country Day and Latin to scout for us, and he'd come back with these really well-done scouting reports, and he was usually spot on. So maybe there's coaching ahead in your future. I don't know. So some players, so these injuries and this path that Kyle took is not a normal one. It kind of delayed what his recruiting path looked like. And so we didn't really know. It was kind of he was kind of late in the process. So after this tremendous spring season he had last year, which carried into the summer, coaches started to take notice of him, and he had a ton of interest kind of in June, I'd say. And he ended up with quite a few offers, but ultimately landed on Colgate. So as I mentioned, he started as a freshman for us on our state championship team that year. And I don't have a ton of stats to share with you because he's a defenseman, and all he really does is keep our opponents from scoring. So the 2 stats we have in lacrosse are ground balls and takeaways. And he is just, while he has racked up a bunch of those stats, what is most impressive about him and what we appreciate most as coaches is I can put him on the other team's best player, and when we can play 5-on-5. So it's like a lockdown corner in football. I only have to game plan for the other 5 players that are left. It's a really nice luxury to have as a coach. And we've only had a couple players in our program's history that have been that way, and Kyle's one of them. So as a junior, because he didn't get to play his sophomore year, he was named All-Conference and All-State last year, and also awarded the Academic All-American Award, which was a combination of his obviously strong work ethic in the classroom and on the field. It's one of the most prestigious awards the lacrosse players in the lacrosse community can receive. So he's an exceptional lacrosse player. He's grown into an exceptional leader. He's a caring teammate. He's an inspiration to everybody he plays with, and Colgate's getting a gem. And we couldn't be happier for your next step, and I'm really thankful we got one more year left with you. Congratulations, buddy.
First, I'd like to thank my biggest supporters, my parents. Mom and Dad, your sacrifices, especially with 2 other siblings who also play sports, are ridiculous, and I can't even put into words the things you did for me. Although sports have brought us some of our happiest and most challenging times, I wouldn't do it any other way. Thank you for all your support. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for your selflessness, and you guys putting me before you. I love you guys. Dylan and Meredith, thank you for always putting up with me and almost always getting the short end of the stick. To all my extended family in Kalamazoo, Michigan, New York, Ohio, and St. Louis, thank you for molding my childhood in the summers and giving me great memories. I want to thank everyone in the Providence Day Lacrosse program, from my teammates to Coach Thompson, Coach Lober, Coach Thompson, and Mr. Ohouse. Coach Thompson with an O-N, thank you for always believing in me and your constant assistance through the process filled with murky waters. From rec in lower school to now, it's been a journey. Coach Lober, thank you for giving the quiet freshman a chance down low. Coach Thompson, you've been my coach for a lot of years. I'm still upset we never got that win on Blue Team Soccer. I want to thank my friends for always being there for me and reassuring me that I would always come back. Shout out to the firm. To the Jesse family, thank you so much for being a significant part of my lacrosse career, driving me an hour and back to practice every day, helped my family so much. Tagging along with Alex did me well. I'm glad we got to spend our years on the field together. Alex, thank you for always pushing me to be great, as well as being an amazing friend. I'm glad our coaches could group us up in recruiting emails when you were tearing it up and I was torn up. Thank you to the Carolina Miners, Coach Frood, Coach Snoddy, Coach Pouillon, and the rest of my teammates for an amazing experience I'll never forget. Coach Frood, thank you for being our biggest advocate and finding a way to get kids from Carolina in front of the right sets of eyes. I'd also like to thank Coach Greer, Coach Corio, Coach Gates, all of my teammates, and the rest of the football staff here for helping me develop as a young man and an athlete. Let's go get one more. Lastly, I would like to thank Coach Carwick and the rest of the Colgate staff for giving me this amazing opportunities. GGG, go Raiders.
One of the best things about Kyle and Alex kind of doing this together is if you had the opportunity to see them compete against each other in practice, you would kind of know why they are where they are. I mean, they get after it every practice and make each other better. So very similar to Kyle, I've had the privilege of coaching Alex since he was probably 8, and so it's been fun to watch him become the player and the person that he is. He started in Providence Day in 5th grade, and he's epitomized what it means to be a Charger ever since. He does everything the right way. It's been fun to watch him grow into the player and the person that he is. And really what I think about Alex and the player that he is, it's his intelligence that strikes me. He's the smartest lacrosse player I've ever spent time with. And so his combination of his lacrosse IQ and his work ethic, and obviously his ability, but all of those three things combined is what separates him. When your best player is your hardest worker and the one who spends the extra hours on the field, whether it's just himself or with his teammates, you know you have a special young man, and we have that in Alex. So he started on the varsity team for 4 years, which can be a daunting feat for a freshman, and he came right in and started for us right away and had a tremendous impact on our state championship run his freshman year. We probably wouldn't have been where we were without him. And he had to start kind of playing in his brother's shadow. So while Alex was a freshman, his brother was a senior, and at the time, his brother had a lot of our scoring records that he has kind of since caught. So while he was under his brother's shadow, he played that role with a wonderful combination of respect, a little bit of an edge, a lot of heart, and he's grown into an incredible leader. So watching him from that freshman year till now has been awesome to see. So he leads by example. He's constantly pushing his teammates to get better. One of my favorite things about him is he always wants to be the last person with the ball in the stick. When we're down, he just looks at me. Is like, you need to get me the ball. He just gives me this look, and so I can put him in any position on the field, and he'll demand that of me, which we're happy about. I think the most impressive thing about Alex as a lacrosse player is that he just doesn't make mistakes. And one of the things I remember last season, he never turns the ball over, and he rarely makes a mistake. He made this play, and I remember yelling at him, kind of from across, because he was on the far end of the field, and he looked at me like, "Coach, he was open." And I didn't believe him. I thought he forced the pass a little bit, and then I went and watched the film that night, and it was a pass to you, Joe. And it was right in his stick, and Joey dropped the ball. Sorry to call you out. But and then this summer, when I was talking to a bunch of the colleges that were interested in Alex, I was talking to one coach in particular who, Alex got recruited by some really, really high-level programs, and some of them were a little afraid of him to commit to him because of his size. And one of the coaches watched him. He said, "I watched him for 5 games straight against the best competition in the country. He hasn't turned the ball over a single time, and he's racked up however many points. He's like, I'll take him on my team right now." And so that just speaks to his skill and ability level and just how dependable as a player he is. So unlike Kyle, who doesn't really have any stats that I could share with you, I have a ton of stats to share with you for Alex, and only because they play different positions. That's not a knock on Kyle. So these numbers that I'll share with you in a second are really, honestly, jaw-dropping, and a lot of people in his position would be really a little bit cocky, and Alex is one of his best traits is how humble he is. And so over the course of our program's history, so keep in mind, he's still got a full season to play yet, right? So he's our career points leader with 325. That's a combination of goals and assists. So he's 41 points ahead of second place, and he has a full season under his belt. His brother happens to be second place. I'm sure you don't rub that in ever, huh? And then so for goals, he's currently second place, and he's 6 behind our leader there, which is also his brother. And then career assists, he's got 142, which is 35 more than second place. And last season, he recorded 72 assists in one season, and the next best player on our list had 54. So the sheer difference in between where he is already on our points list compared to the second place person is already a pretty wide gap, and he's got 20-ish games ahead of him. So I can't imagine what they're going to look like when it's all said and done. So they say records are meant to be broken, but I don't know about this one. So very similar to Kyle, Alex's recruiting path was a little later than he probably would have liked. I remember meeting with him in my office last January, and I asked him the question. I said, "If you could go anywhere, where would you want to go?" And Alex looked at me and said, "Dartmouth." And I said, "Okay, well, that's what we're going to shoot for." And then we put, a list together, which included Dartmouth and a bunch of other schools. And as things unfolded, it was kind of a reach at the time, honestly. But very similar to Kyle's path, and in June, in that story I told you about that coach, everybody was kind of paying attention to him after the spring season that he had, and then kind of rolled into the summer. And so he began to gain a lot of interest, and Dartmouth became a reality. And he visited a handful of schools, and in the end, Dartmouth was his dream from the beginning, and that's where he ended up. And there aren't a lot of kids that get to do that and say that get to go to their dream school. And so how awesome is that you get to realize that dream? We're so happy for you, thrilled that you've earned that opportunity to realize that dream of playing at Dartmouth. I'm thankful that for the 3 years we've had, and I'm really thankful that we get to have you lead our program for one more year. We're very excited for you and couldn't be more proud. Congrats.
First off, I'd like to congratulate all the other athletes that signed today. It's a huge accomplishment, so congratulations. The first people I'd like to thank today is my family, who's given up so much for me to be here. They've given up so much time and effort and resources to get me where I am today. First off, my dad, who is always willing to shoot with me or shag balls for me. He's been at every game I've ever played, and I'm so thankful for his support. He's driven up and down the East Coast in the middle of the night and has never complained once. Next, my mom, who's been my #1 fan through it all. Regardless of how well I play, she's always there to lift me up and support me. Also, my brother, Cole, who Coach talked about a little. He's really who I learned the game from, playing with him in the backyard and shooting with him on the weekends. Sorry. Then, Fast forward to high school, I was lucky enough to play with him for 1 year, and that was the best season of all time, getting to win a state championship playing on the same attack line as him. Even now, he watches all my live streams from college and continues to support and critique me when needed. And on top of my family, I'd like to give a special thank you to the Van Dam family. They've helped me so much get to tournaments and practices, and Miss Van Dam has done way too much of my laundry and made me way too many meals on the road, and I'm so thankful for it. Also, Kyle, who's been such a great teammate and friend over the years, pushing me to come shoot and do one-on-ones with him every day, basically. I'm really going to miss playing against you in practice every day. Next, I'd like to thank all of my teachers and faculty at Providence Day for helping me academically and allowing me to achieve my goals on that side. A special thank you to Ms. Carmichael for all her support. I'd like to thank all my friends for their support and all my teammates, both club and at PD, for making me love the sport and enjoy coming to practice every day. Some of my favorite high school memories are just hanging out in the locker room and going to meals after games. Next, I'd like to thank all my coaches I've had over the years. First, my club coaches, especially Coach Brett Frood. He's pushed me so much over the years and was so helpful in the recruiting process. Also, thank you to Coach Sonati, Coach Pouillon, and the rest of Miners organization. At Providence Day, I'd like to thank Coach Gates, Coach Ruscio, along with Tim Gibson from F4 for helping me in the weight room, and along with all my lacrosse coaches, Coach Noose, Coach Lober, Coach Logan, Coach Gates, and Coach Thompson, for just being a wonderful staff that I've enjoyed so much to play for. Lastly, I'd like to thank Coach Bobby Thompson. I've gotten to a bad habit of just calling him Bobby. But I was lucky enough to play for him, like he said, in club when I was really young, and then play for him again all 4 years of high school. I love playing for Coach so much, coming to practice every day. He's just been the best coach I've ever had. He was also, as he mentioned, so vital in my recruiting process as he sent out countless emails and calls on my behalf and helped open up countless opportunities for me. At one point in the summer, I felt like I was calling Coach every day, and he was to help get advice about recruiting, and he was there every step of the way to help guide me to my decision. Last but not least, I'd like to thank Coach Kerwin, Coach Herring, and the rest of the Dartmouth staff for this opportunity. Dartmouth was the goal from the beginning, and I can't wait for the next 4 years. Go Big Green.
Let's give it up one more time for all 7 unique individuals. Parents, thank you for allowing PD to be a part of your journey. And at this time, we'd love to have our parents come up and be able to get pictures with their son or daughter. And then students, you're also welcome to